The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, but this one might be the biggest yet. DK Metcalf, one of the most physically dominant wide receivers in the league, is rumored to be on the move. Reports from the NFL scouting combine suggest that the Seattle Seahawks have had trade discussions involving their Pro Bowl wideout, and the Green Bay Packers have emerged as a top contender. Could we really be on the verge of seeing DK Metcalf and Packers green and gold? Will the Seahawks pull the trigger on a massive deal that shakes up the NFC? The stakes are sky high, and the implications for both teams could be franchise-altering. So what's really going on? Is this just another baseless rumor, or is there a legitimate blockbuster trade in the making? Let's break it all down. Why the Seahawks might trade Metcalf, why the Packers want him, and what a potential deal could look like. Metcalf trade talks, real or just another offseason rumor? The name DK Metcalf has been involved in trade rumors for years. Ever since he burst onto the scene as one of the most physically imposing receivers in the league, speculation about his future has been non-stop. And now, as the 2025 offseason heats up, the whispers are getting louder. According to multiple reports, the Seahawks have been in discussions with multiple teams about Metcalf at the scouting combine. Now, let's be clear, Seattle isn't officially shopping him. They're not actively making calls, but they are listening. And in the NFL, when a team is listening, that means there's a real possibility a trade could happen. This is where things get really interesting. One of the biggest names connected to Metcalf, the Green Bay Packers. Why the Seahawks might trade DK Metcalf. At first glance, trading DK Metcalf might seem insane. He's a 26-year-old WR1, a physical specimen with rare speed, strength, and size. But when you dig deeper, the logic behind a potential move starts to emerge. 1. The money factor. Can Seattle afford him? Right now, Metcalf is heading into the final year of his contract and is set to make $24 million per year. That might sound like a lot, but in today's market, it's actually a bargain for a top-tier receiver. However, Metcalf isn't going to be satisfied staying at $24 hours per year. He's going to want a big payday. Look at what other top WRs are making. Justin Jefferson, Vikings, expected to reset the market at $35 to $40 million per year. Tyreek Hill, Dolphins, $30 million per year. Devontae Adams, Raiders, $28 million per year. A.J. Brown, Eagles, $25 million per year. If Metcalf wants to be paid like a top 5 wide receiver, he's looking at a contract in the range of $30 million per year or more. The Seahawks have to ask themselves, is Metcalf worth that kind of money? And it's not just about Metcalf. The Seahawks have a lot of other financial decisions coming up. Their 2022 draft class, including key players like Tariq Woolen, Kenneth Walker III, and Abraham Lucas, will all be due for extensions soon. Seattle might decide that instead of giving Metcalf a massive deal, they'd rather cash in now and build for the future. 2. Is Metcalf even Seattle's number 1 WR anymore? Another factor in this trade talk. Jackson Smith-Njigba. Last season, there were moments when Smith-Njigba looked like the true number 1 receiver in Seattle. While Metcalf still put up solid numbers, 992 yards and 8 TDs, his role was slightly diminished at times. If the Seahawks view Smith-Njigba as their future WR1, then paying Metcalf 30 minutes pluses per year might not make sense. 3. A massive trade. Hall could be too good to pass up. If a team like the Packers is willing to offer a first-round pick and a young WR in return, Seattle might see this as the perfect time to cash in. The Seahawks are a franchise in transition. They have a new coaching staff and are still figuring out their long-term quarterback situation. Trading Metcalf for premium draft capital could help them build a stronger foundation for the future. Why the Packers want Metcalf. Now, let's flip the script. Why would the Packers be interested in trading for Metcalf? 1. Jordan Love needs a true number 1 heir. The Packers shocked the world last season by making a deep playoff run behind the emergence of Jordan Love. Love proved he can be a franchise QB, but the one thing missing from this Green Bay offense, a dominant WR1. The Packers have a deep but unproven WR room. Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and Dontavian Wicks are all talented, but none of them have proven they can be a true X-receiver. Metcalf instantly gives the Packers a go-to target who can take over games. 2. The Packers are in win-now mode. Green Bay isn't rebuilding anymore. They have their quarterback, they have a strong defense, and they have an excellent coaching staff. If they can add one elite piece like Metcalf, they can legitimately compete for a Super Bowl. What a trade might look like. So what kind of deal would it take to bring Metcalf to Green Bay? According to reports, any Metcalf trade to the Packers would likely involve a first-round pick or a high second-rounder, a young wide receiver, Romeo Doubs, Dontavion Wicks, or Christian Watson, possibly a day 3 pick from Seattle as part of the deal. This trade would allow the Seahawks to get a high draft pick while also replacing Metcalf with a younger, cheaper receiver. For the Packers, they'd be making a huge bet, but it's one that could take them over the top in the NFC. Will the trade happen? At this point, nothing is set in stone. The Seahawks are still weighing their options. They could extend Metcalf and keep him in Seattle for years to come.